G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn to the Barbie, smack like, and get ready for today's episode. Let's go. Posted by user Wooden Maintenance 40, titled, I'm 24 female, getting a series of cosmetic surgeries, and my 27 male boyfriend is acting like I'm going to pass away. I'm going to have several cosmetic surgeries, nose job, bichectomy, laser freckle removal, etc. in the next few months. My boyfriend initially was against it, but later he agreed to support me and kind of accepted it. But his attitude towards me is really startling me. Every day he takes my face in his hands and kisses my nose and cheeks for several minutes. He takes photos of me very often. Last night, he believed I was asleep when he went to bed, and he kissed me and whispered, "My beautiful girl, how I'm going to miss you." It's like he thought I'm going to die because of the surgeries or something, when they're totally safe. How can I make him see that he isn't going to lose me? TLDR, I'm getting cosmetic surgeries, and my boyfriend is acting like I'm going to die on the table. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that he doesn't think you're going to die. I just think the current version of you that he sees is going to pass away in a sense. You're doing this surgery for one reason or another. That's a highly personal choice, and obviously I respect it. But with this many surgeries, you're going to come out looking different. Same, but different. Everyone grieves loss differently, I guess. In the comments, Trotty says, "For the love of God, can women stop looking for plastic surgeries to solve their insecurity issues? All it does is make you look like a creepy doll. A natural face is so much more attractive than plastic. Your boyfriend clearly loves you for the way that you look now, not how you think that you should look. If you continue down this path, you will truly end up alone. Nobody wants to watch their loved one put themselves under the knife repeatedly due to literal mental issues. Whether you want to believe it or not, anytime you go for a surgery, there is always a risk of something going wrong and you dying. You will not be satisfied with the surgeries, and you'll keep wanting more and more until you end up looking like these mother effers. I don't know about you, but the Bogdanov twins, kinda sexy. Do yourself a favor, cancel all of your appointments, and immediately book yourself into therapy." And OP replies, "F that looks bad." Captain Impavid says, "Looking at this post and at your post history, my heart breaks that you are so clearly hurting and have had your self-esteem so flattened. People can be cruel. I don't know if it was family or peers or strangers who were the main tormentors, but whoever it was, they're terrible and so very wrong. I can't tell you whether to go through with your surgeries or not, but I still ask, beg even, that you do two things. First, find a therapist. Someone who specializes in body image issues. Because it seems like the way that you feel about yourself is so negative that changing how you look won't make you feel as different as you hope. Please, do this regardless of whether you have these surgeries. Second, if you do the surgery, please make sure that the surgeon is a board-certified plastic surgeon. Because plastic surgery is so lucrative, a lot of doctors will bill themselves as plastic surgeons, whether they've had training as one or even training as a surgeon. In most cases, it's not even illegal. So make sure that you're in the best hands possible because the consequences could be catastrophic. If I can, after all of that, offer a little more personal input, listen to what your boyfriend is saying. He loves you and loves the way you look right now. Make sure you consider that in your thinking. And I'll share one more thing. My wife got me a gift this year, a leather bracelet with a message on the inside. Your anxiety is lying to you. Reminding myself of that helps me daily, and I hope it can help you some too. And now, onto the update. I ended up cancelling the surgeries, at least until I had spoken with a therapist to double-check my mental state. I hadn't told my boyfriend yet when he asked me to talk. He sat me down and told me that he couldn't stay silent any longer. He says he can't support me in changing my face and skin without any good reason. Also, he thinks that I'm risking my life for nothing and ruining myself when I'm a perfectly normal and beautiful girl. Honestly, I was crying by that point. Then he asked me if I didn't think that he likes me and why his opinion is worth less than the opinion of random people. I told him that I know he loves me, but I couldn't answer the second question. He was happy to hear that I had delayed the surgeries, since he doesn't want to break up, but he can't promise me he could love the new me. Knowing all of this, I don't think that I'll have the surgeries done. I love my boyfriend more than I dislike my looks. He is now helping me to find a good therapist that helps me to feel better. TLDR, I have talked to my boyfriend, and I'm not going to have the surgeries. And I'm starting therapy soon. In the comments, Weekly Conversation 8 says, "It's good that you're looking into starting therapy. Make sure you find one who specializes in this. Remember, it's not an instant fix, and sometimes you have to go through a few therapists to find the right one. Can't second this enough. OP seriously needs to look for a therapist that specializes in this kind of situation. You can't go into cosmetic surgery without fully knowing and embracing what it entails." Exactly. Your mental health can affect how you see yourself. It really does. I've never liked my nose and also have a deviated septum. It's really bad. However, I've had a lot of self-image issues, and I don't want to get surgery till I can say to myself that I'm doing this for me and me only. I don't want it to snowball into the next surgery and the next, and I'm never happy. Bad Kitty Good Pussy says, "I think you did the right thing. In my experience, most people who do multiple cosmetic surgeries are never satisfied and always find something new about their bodies that bothers them. The issue isn't the body, it's the mind. They mostly have self-esteem issues, and they fail to see that changing their appearance won't ever change that emptiness inside. Therapy is a good idea, and your boyfriend is a keeper." I tend to agree with this. Body dysmorphia is terrible. And there is no guarantee that altering your appearance through all those surgeries would help at all with that body dysmorphia. Good on the boyfriend for being as supportive as he is. He is definitely a keeper. What do you guys think of this one? I'd love to hear your opinions down in the comments below. Our next post is by user RealLeather1989 titled, "Am I the a-hole for not telling my wife to tone down her dancing at our wedding? My wife, 29 female, and I, 29 male, got married last weekend. We've been together since our first year of uni, and we got married on the 10-year anniversary of the day that I asked her to be my girlfriend. We've grown up together, gotten through thick and thin, and I know there is no one else that I want to spend my life with. For some context, my wife is half Spanish, and we incorporated a lot of Spanish traditions into our wedding. It also meant that, with all her family there, the reception turned into quite the party. I was pretty tired after dancing for a while, so I went to sit and talk with my family whilst my wife kept dancing with her cousins and friends. After a bit of chatting, my mum and aunt essentially told me that they weren't too pleased with my wife's dancing to songs like Low and Sexy Back, saying that her slut drops and wiggling her bottom like that weren't appropriate on her wedding day and were disrespectful to me. To be honest, I didn't see anything wrong with the way that she was dancing. It was nothing more than I think any person would dance to songs like that in the club when they were having fun and had a couple of drinks, and I told them as such. They said that I should tell her to tone it down, but she was having fun with her friends and I didn't see anything gratuitous about it, nor was she super drunk. So I told her that it wasn't my place. We ended up wrapping up the party soon afterwards anyway. The morning after, we had breakfast with my family, and my aunt mentioned to my wife that she was pleased that I eventually got her to tone down the fiesta. My wife asked her what she meant by that, and my mum told her about the conversation from last night. My wife was the one who told me about this, as I was talking to my dad and uncle at the time, and I didn't hear. My wife apologized, but was then very quiet for the rest of the day, and when we left the hotel, she was very upset with me, saying that I should have told her that she had offended my family and that she was humiliated that I hadn't told her anything about it on the night, like my aunt had assumed. I was sorry that she was humiliated, but I was not sorry that I hadn't told her to tone it down, because in my opinion, she didn't do anything wrong. She still thinks that I should have just told her because now she won't have a good relationship with her in-laws. She doesn't have a good one with her parents. I'm mad at my mum and aunt, and I want them to apologize to us, but she refuses to bring it up with them and wants to apologize again to them when they come over this weekend. I want to stand up for her because I think they're being incredibly rude, but she doesn't want that. She just wants to mend bridges. She's still upset with me because I don't see it her way, and because I'm not sorry that I didn't tell her. So am I the a-hole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole because I didn't tell my wife what my mum and aunt said, and now she's upset because she feels I let her humiliate herself. But I don't think she did anything wrong. I can see why you think that you're the asshole for that, but in reality, no, you're not. From the get-go, these two suck. Your aunt's comment saying, tone down her fiesta? Disgusting. Disgusting person. Sorry, didn't know it was cool to be racist to you about your wife. That's fun. How about you, auntie? Tone down the stick up your ass. You're looking like a scarecrow right now. Anyway, that's my long-form way of saying I don't think you're the asshole at all for what you've done. I don't agree with your wife. I feel like there are boundaries that need to be set. Let's enforce those boundaries. Let's not kowtow to these individuals trying to stomp all over them. Screw your mum, screw your auntie, not the asshole. In the comments, Layla says, you and your wife are not the asshole. Your family is so controlling and rude that when going to you didn't work, they told her to her face that she danced provocatively and pretended you did what they told you. This needs to stop immediately. You need to stand up for her and give them serious consequences. Otherwise, they will continue this throughout your relationship. And racist. Don't forget racist. Tone down the fiesta? The audacity! Edit, if hating the Irish can be racist, so can hating the Spanish. Race is a social construct and does not always mean skin tone. They barely waited for the couple to get married before starting the racist BS. Well, they didn't start, they just revealed it. Not the arsehole OP. Yeah, your wife was not disrespectful to you. Your family was disrespectful to your wife. They put you in a really shitty position. I can see why your wife might wish that you told her and now she's upset. But if you had told her, she likely would have been upset then, and I can understand why you wanted to keep that BS away from her and make sure she had fun at her wedding. It was shitty of them to say to you, and even more shitty of them to say to her. I understand that your wife is nervous about having a good relationship with your family, but honestly, if they're being this dickish to her at the wedding, it doesn't seem enormously likely that the relationship will be very good anyway. That sucks, but it's their fault, not hers. At the end of the day, the relationship that matters the most is the one between the two of you. I think you made the right call personally, but you shouldn't invalidate her feelings now. In my opinion, you should say something along the lines of this. I think my family was totally wrong to judge you for dancing with your friends and having fun on our wedding day, and I only didn't tell you about it because I didn't agree with their opinion, so I didn't think that it mattered. I understand that you're worried about your relationship with them, and so if you want me to tell you things like that in the future, then I will. But in my opinion, they are the ones that should be worried about maintaining a good relationship with you, as you are the most important person in my life, and your happiness is my top priority. Candid Crescent says, not the arsehole. I'm proud of how you handled the situation, but mostly for not ruining the fun that your wife was having. Your wife, though, needs to unlearn to accept that kind of sexism just because she wants to have a good relationship with her in-laws, or anyone for that matter. The fact your mum and aunt sexualized her dancing at her own frickin' wedding is disgusting and sounds like a them problem. And now, onto the update. Hi all. Bit shocked at the level of response to my post. Thanks for all the comments. I did read as many as I could. I talked to my wife. I apologized for not telling her what my aunt had said, and that it was only because I believed what my aunt had said had no merit, and that she as my wife was always going to be my priority rather than placating them. She accepted my apology. She still was wary to try and confront them about it though. And I ended up saying something that I read in the comments that broke my heart. That my wife was probably more than anything grieving the loss of the new family she thought she was going to have. And she immediately burst into tears. So that commenter was spot on. Her parents went through a very bitter divorce that damaged their relationship with their children permanently. So it was a difficult conversation, but we came to the conclusion that we had to confront my mum and aunt in the hope of salvaging any relationship. Though my wife wanted me to do it on our behalf, which is fair. I called my aunt and basically let her have it. She wasn't apologetic at all and said some pretty nasty things that I won't repeat. So that was an immediate end to that relationship. I then called my mum to do the same, and she was very ashamed. For context, my aunt is her older sister, and we invited her because my mum and my wife wanted her there. My aunt had never met my wife, but my wife really wanted to meet my whole family. My mum grew up in a very conservative Christian household, and although she stopped believing, my aunt didn't. So there's been some distance and disappointment. My mum apologized to me and said she had been missing her sister and had let herself get brought back into old habits. She wants the opportunity to make it up to my wife, but my wife and I have agreed on low contact for now, and we'll see how we go. My wife did say okay to flowers and a letter that my mum wanted to send, but I told my mum pretty sternly not to expect anything from my wife, which she took pretty well. Most importantly, my wife now seems to be a lot happier. I don't know if our relationship with my mum will be as trusting ever again, but it at least will be one with clear boundaries. Part of the reason for the delayed update is that, amidst all of this, my wife realized she had missed her period, and lo and behold, she's pregnant. Cue panic because she drank at our wedding, and this is totally unplanned. But otherwise, we're ecstatic. We haven't told anyone other than her mother and sister, and now we're going to have to really think about how this is going to work with my mum. But I'm now feeling way more confident that we'll be able to figure it out together. As long as my wife is happy, I don't care. In the comments, Funky Zebra 1999 says, "Congratulations, and well done for stepping up to your frightful, bigoted, hate-filled sour lemon of an aunt. She is clearly a lost cause, but the relationship with your mum sounds like it might have some eventual potential. Good luck with that. I wonder how long it will be before the judgmental and critical horrors at your wedding start asking you, or probably others, about your new baby. All the best to you both, and please tell your wife not to stop dancing. At the next family function, it would be a good idea if you joined her. Imagine the outrage." Capo Explains says, quote, "She wasn't apologetic at all and said some pretty nasty things that I won't repeat, so that was an immediate end to that relationship. If you don't mind my curiosity, without asking for specific quotes, was it condescending, everyone who's not a stuck-up Christian prude like myself is the devil types of things, or super effing racist types of things? I ask because tone down the fiesta from the last post was less a racism red flag and more a small industrious nation whose chief export is racism red flags. Hitch Please replies, "If I had to guess, some racism, xenophobia, and a healthy splash of slut-shaming was her magical recipe, mixed together and voila, no contact." World's Greatest Frog says, "OP, I just want to say that you sound like a good husband who is shouldering new responsibilities while trying to honor the old. I wish you the very best, and it sounds like you have the foundation of a relationship built around respect and of communication." And I think it goes without saying, congratulations OP, and I do hope this next chapter of your life is amazing and filled with only people that are there to support you and your wife. And not saying disgustingly ugly things like this aunt. Shame on her, thank God she's out of your life, isn't coming back, she deserves everything she got. Also, thank you for letting her have it, that fills me with joy, I won't lie, it fills me with a lot of joy. Anyway, what do you guys think of this whole situation? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next post is by user Revenant Rising, titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my parents that if they won't tell me the truth, I'll assume the worst of them?" So, my 14 female family totally exploded while I was on spring break 2 weeks ago. I went on a trip with my grandparents and came back to my mum moved out and a serious sit-down talk about them divorcing. It's not exactly a surprise because they've both been acting weird and shady for a while, but that's not what I was expecting to come back to, and they could have let me unpack first, at least. They asked me if I had any questions, and I asked them which one cheated, because that was my first thought. They got super uncomfortable and said that the reasons between them were private. I said, not when it means I suddenly lost my family over it, and they owe me at least some reason that this is happening, and we don't love each other anymore doesn't cut it. You don't just stop loving someone for no reason. That's dumb. So what? They said that was all I needed to know, and we need to talk about how the living situation was going to work and everything. I told them that I don't want to live with either of them if they're going to be like that. Everyone has been mad since then, and my mum came over to talk it out last night. They still don't want to tell me why. I told them both that if they were going to hide stuff, I'll just make up my own worst case and go with that. Since Mum left, it can all be her fault, and since it's her fault, I won't live with her or go see her. She got upset and said that was unfair and that it wasn't her fault. I told her to give me the real reason then, or just deal with it. My dad said that I was out of line, and I said that it can be all his fault then, and the same deal. That started an argument between the two of them, but I'm holding my own. I'm pretty sure at least one of them will crack and tell me what happened soon, so I can decide how I feel about it. I don't need graphic detail, but a simple someone cheated, or mum is a secret lesbian, don't tell anyone, or we've both really changed a lot and don't want the same things would help. If one of them did something bad, I want to know. If they won't own up or explain why there are no bad guys, they can both be the bad guy. I had to talk to my school counselor today, and she said that it's totally understandable, but playing them against each other is going to hurt everyone. So, am I the asshole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole because I'm trying to get an answer by playing my parents against each other, and it's already a hard situation, and it probably makes them both feel bad. I'm going with no assholes here in this case. Hot take, but OP's 14. They're 14 years old. They haven't lived life right now. They don't understand relationships like this. Would you expect a 14-year-old to understand the inner machinations of a marriage that has been going on for God knows how long? OP is grieving currently. They're going through the anger stage. They're understandably upset and people are lying to them, lying by omission. The parents are doing an amazing job here by not playing sides. Understandably, they're trying to resolve the issue with OP and her anger. But really, there are no winners in situations like this, and you do need a counselor or an intermediary to deal with situations where the kid is going to pit you against each other. This is so complex, there is no good answer, and currently there is no good outcome. I don't think the kid is an asshole in this situation for being young, dumb, and unaware of the world. And I think that anyone that attacks OP for that needs to take a long hard look in the mirror at themselves. In the comments, Bailey the Nerd says, "You're the asshole. Jesus, kid, your parents are having far more decorum in this divorce than most divorcing parents ever have. They're not trying to pin blame all on one parent and have to work out this incredibly massive shift in their lives themselves. This is a huge thing for them emotionally as much as it is for you. If they're not at each other's throats and trying to make things as smooth for you as possible, you can at least show a little decorum and give them some time to work up to explaining it to you. Not everything needs to be the result of some big, explosive, dramatic moment. Life isn't TV or TikTok. Go out and touch grass." Swoozy Clancy replies, "I'll add that I think her parents are doing the right thing in not telling her. Not every conflict needs to have a bad guy, even if one parent betrayed or hurt the other. OP's life has been turned upside down, and she's looking for someone to blame, which is a natural response. OP's relationship to each of her parents individually doesn't need to change just because their relationship to each other has. Teenagers are developmentally not generally able to see gray areas in complex situations like this. Let's assume, as OP is, that one parent cheated on the other. It's a very good reason to get a divorce. There was a betrayal in that relationship. I don't think that it means that OP should now see that parent as the bad guy and refuse to ever see that parent again. This isn't healthy for OP or the parent. I don't condone cheating, but I don't think it's necessarily a reason to lose your relationship with your kid. Marriages are very complicated, more than a 14-year-old is able to realize. How many Reddit posts have we seen where a kid's entire relationship with their parent is ruined over things like this? MountainBean3479 says, "OP doesn't sound mature enough to know the reason, no matter what it is." Swoozy Clancy replies, "I agree. The cheating was just an example. My parents divorced when I was young, and there was cheating involved. Even into my 20s, I felt like I needed to know who was at fault. Now that I'm much older, married, divorced, remarried, and have kids, I know that relationships, and especially marriages, are really complex. Almost always two imperfect people trying to make something work. Not to sound patronizing at all, but the inner workings and downfall of a marriage is beyond what a 14-year-old can comprehend. Her parents are being very mature in working together to protect their relationships with their child instead of pointing fingers and putting her in the middle." Shayna2010 says, "I think you are 14 years old and don't understand adult relationships. I'm sorry they sprung it on you like this. It isn't fair. In time, you will learn the truth of what happened between your parents, but right now it may be too raw for them. They are human, and it's painful for them too. Be grateful they aren't blaming each other to you. Many things can end a relationship, not necessarily cheating or being interested in a different gender. Give some slack for getting a divorce, but you have every right to express your feelings. I'm very sorry that this happens to you. And back up to the post, there's an edit. Okay, I'm the asshole. That's okay. I did some digging on my own tonight, and I know pretty much what happened now. I don't feel bad about being an asshole to assholes. Thanks. Well, at least we have confirmation that whatever they did was bad. Really bad by the sounds of it. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.